Welcome to the 13th week after Pentecost. It is Monday, August the 19th, 2024. This is the Manna at the Tap podcast, where we as a community actively seek the spiritual nourishment our souls crave. I'm Gloria, your fellow traveler on this spiritual journey, and together we offer and receive insights and interpretations from the daily lectionary readings, which provide the manna designed to nurture our spiritual growth. Today's lectionary reading is found in 1 Kings chapter 3. At the beginning of the chapter, the narrator gives us a private moment in Solomon's life as God starts a conversation with him through a dream. God wanted him to request what he should ask God to give him. God was testing him as to his fitness as the new king after Solomon said he loved the Lord and would walk in the footsteps of his father David. His answer pleased God, and he passed with flying colors. He said, I'm only a child and do not know how to carry out my duties. Give your servant a discerning heart to govern your people and to distinguish between right and wrong. God gave Solomon exceptional wisdom, riches, and honor. The lectionary reading is 1 Kings chapter 3, verses 16 to 28, as the narrative moves Solomon from his private arena into the public arena when he encounters a dispute between two prostitutes. Solomon will use his wisdom to solve the mystery of who the birth mother is of the living child. The two women shared a house, and within 3 days of each other, they both had a baby. During the night, one of the babies died, and while the other mother was sleeping, the mother of the dead child switched her child and took the living one. When the other mom got up in the morning to nurse her son, he was dead. But when she looked at him in the morning light, she knew this was not her child. These two nameless and powerless women sought Solomon's wisdom, the most powerful person in the nation, to solve the mystery of the dead child. Solomon presented a clever riddle, but this story is also a heartbreaking tale of cruelty, loss, and grief. Solomon called for a sword, and his solution was to cut the living child in two and give half to one mother and the other half to the other mother. Will the true mother reveal herself before Solomon slices the baby apart? For the narrator, this story is not about the women and their babies, but about Solomon's public persona. This narrative illustrates the depth of his wisdom and the understanding of the mind he had prayed for. By choosing wisdom and discernment as the gifts he wanted from God, Solomon demonstrated a compassionate heart in this narrative as he cared for the poor, the nameless, and the people in his community, as well as his ability to discern between good and evil no matter their status. Both women were stricken with deep, wrenching grief as Solomon pitted them against each other, neither woman wanting to face the loss of her baby. When Solomon commanded the living child to be cut in two, the woman whose son was alive instructed Solomon to give the other woman the living child. And she asked Solomon not to kill him. But the other woman said, neither I nor you should have him. Cut him in two. Then Solomon gave his ruling. The woman who, because of her love for her child, was willing to let him live and be given away to the other mother. There's a grief of the loss of a child, and there may have been guilt on the part of the other mother if she laid on the child and he died. Well, when all of Israel heard Solomon's verdict, they held the king in awe because they saw that he had wisdom from God to administer justice. The two women exit the stage after their audience with the king and disappear from the pages of Scripture. But there is still an unanswered question. How will these women find healing from their emotional trauma? There's also a question for us to ponder. These two women went to a skilled person to help with their dilemma. Do we seek a skilled person with discernment and wisdom when we are confronted with difficult situations? That's the question at hand.